in a most endearing way, as if they had spoken 1,000 times before, and she knew just how to lure him away. "I promise I won't bite," she joked as she started down the alley and turned her back to him. He could overtake her at any time, but the need to be closer to her was stronger than the hunger for her blood. She piqued his curiosity. What was wrong with him? Humans had never drawn him as she had. His family had taught him from birth that they were cattle to be maintained and respected for the gift they give, but nothing more. Moreover, how could she possibly have been waiting for him? She must think I'm someone else, he thought to himself. The thought sent an odd wave of jealousy over him. It didn't matter. Why should he care if she were expecting to meet a human male? She strolled down the alley without a care, and he began to follow, as if he were the tide being pulled by her gravity. He felt a sudden surge of anger at her arrogance. She could not lead him, Griffin Vaughn, around by the nose like some weak human male. He caught up with her in less than a heartbeat and spun her around by her arm so she could see her predator's true face. His fangs extended, and he knew his dark blue irises had darkened to solid black. She needed to develop some respect for the danger he displayed. He would be sure she never acted so foolishly again. "I don't think I'm the male you were waiting for, little one," he snarled into her face. "Of course you are. You just don't know it yet." Her voice wobbled. "You have no idea what you're dealing with, little one. I'm not one of your timid males." A growl came from deep in his throat. Why had he done that? He really didn't want to scare her away, and he knew better than to reveal himself to a human. Vampires enthralled their donors and sent them on their way with no memory of the feeding, but she had him so twisted in the space of a minute that he'd exposed himself. Tessa put both of her fists against his abdomen and pushed with all her might to put space between the two of them. It didn't move Griffin at all, but the motion forced Tessa back against the cold brick wall behind her. "I'm not afraid of you. If you wanted to hurt me, I'd be dead by now, or at least unconscious from blood loss," she stuttered. He stepped in closer, so they were chest to chest, and she had to crane her neck up to look into his black eyes. The fangs he had on display for her to admire and fear were just inches from her face. "Are you quite sure about that, little one?" he hissed. He could hear her suck wind between her glossy, bow-shaped lips, and her heart sped at his touch. She composed herself instantly and laid her head back, turning her face to the side in order to bare her neck to him. Her hair fell down her chest from her shoulder. The smell of vanilla wafted up to him. She was calling his bluff. At that moment, his mouth watered for an entirely different reason. "Do it, then." There was uncertainty mixed with the challenge in her eyes. "I don't have all night to hang out in a dark alley with you," she said, facing the direction they had come from. Her breath suddenly sounded too rapid. She stayed motionless for several moments, her neck splayed out before him in what felt like a dare, as he looked down on her in wonder. Humans weren't supposed to know about vampires, but her behavior and lack of shock led him to believe she was fully aware. "I didn't think so, tough guy," she whispered as he finally allowed her to push him away. The smug glare she tossed him made his body quicken. So arrogant, so beautiful. Suddenly, there was a noise on the street. The humans began to filter out of the various watering holes and nightclubs nearby. She stepped around him and started to walk away, expecting him to follow. He did so without pause. Tessa's weak voice pulled him